This is part 2 of the head tutorial. So what I've got here is the head. We created UVs for the majority of the face there in the first part, and so what I want to do now is, let's go back to 2. So these are the bits we cut out before, the sort of tricky areas, ear holes, eyes there, because they've got quite they turn back in on themselves. Things that turn back in on themselves are like deep holes, like the nostrils, things like that. It's better to do them separately. So let's have a look at the mouth. So here's the mouth. We've got the lips there, and it's going back into some internal surface. So, and I've got to try and fit all of that into this space here, which is basically impossible. So what I'll do is select. Now we've still got the symmetry thing here, so let's select these section here. So what I'll do is I'll get these lips into that area there, but and the seam there will be sort of back behind the lips there, and this internal mouth area we'll do separately in a separate piece of UV, not try and weld that in. Alright, so here's the lips. So I'll drop that down into UV space. It'll position it over here to the right. So I'll just go Shift F. Right, so there's our flattened lips, and we're looking UV view there. So now most people won't want a seam there, so what I'll do is weld that into the rest of the face. So matter of positioning it over here. Now you can see here the problem we've got is ideally this amount of pixels or texture is required for no distortion of lips, but we've only got this amount of space to fit it into because of the rest of the face is sort of pushing in that area. So we'll reduce the size of the lips here, sort of get them into position. Now if I just weld that in and try and flatten, I'll show you what happens if we do that. Just get that a bit smaller, and then if I just flatten, the whole thing sort of collapses in on itself again, which isn't good. So I'll undo that. So what I do is, in this case, I sort of get this down into about that sort of size. Then I use the local scaling here. So what that does is it sort of shrinks the size of that, and it won't try and push it out, which is the thing that's causing all those problems. So let's weld that in, and let's run the flatten here. So you can see here it's not collapsing, it's got a much better sort of shape. There's a few problems here which I'll fix up in a second, but at least we've got it welded in there. Now you can see there's a change in the colouring here from red to blue, and that's because of the scaling. If I turn this button here on, you can see what that's done is it's sort of shrinking these down. There's a sharp change in the local scaling of those UVs, so in that case I'll sort the smooth is 4, so that sort of creates turn that off, a better blend of the UVs in that area. Alright, so there's our welded in mouth. Now the chin here is a bit of a problem still, and that's because, again, it's the problem here is the neck. The neck sort of pushing, because it's quite a large amount of surface here, that's sort of pushing in to the rest of the face. So that, I mean, the one solution would be to cut a seam up the neck here, and that would allow that to spread out, which would give this more room to come out. But if you want no UV seam up the middle of the neck there, then these are the sort of things you need to do. So let's what I'll do here is I'll select some faces just in the 3D view there. So that's those there. Now you can see here from the front, the shape of that is let's just turn the light to the front here. The shape of that is sort of a nice smooth curve dipping down, so we'll do the same here. We'll grab these and just sort of deliberately pull these UVs out here, Let's go back to the 3D view. So again, much more even now. I'll pin those points just with the P key there. Then if I run the flattening, it'll help to pull the rest of this chin down. Now it's going to cause, let's go GU. There's going to be a bit of distortion there, but it's under the chin, so let's unselect this mesh. So you can see here it's helping to pull this down a bit and reducing the amount of distortion in the chin there. So we get sort of much sort of even, more even, slightly reddish still, and that's because the because it's the chin sort of poking out there, that sort of shape there. But it's better than it was, and the lips don't look too bad. There's a bit of sort of a kink there on the side of the lips, but there's a lot of sort of surface there that's trying to fit into a small amount of texture space. Right, so that's the mouth. Now, probably normally I would tweak that a bit more, but because of the video I have to sort of keep this short, so I'll leave it at that for the mouth. And then what I'll do next is I'll do the ear holes. So let's go back to 2 here, and so that's that one there. So let's drop that down. Same sort of thing. Let's go Shift F here. So you can see here, because it's a concave area, it's sort of all collapsed. So that's where I'll do local scaling on. We can brush in this, brush in some local scaling here. So what that does is it sort of shrinks that area down, so it allows the rest of those polygons to flatten out better. So you can see here that it doesn't look too bad, and I'll weld that into the rest of the head. So again, I'll just go Shift W here, M, so that's sort of magnetic snaps it to where it's supposed to be in the rest of the head, and I'll just weld that in. Let's run the brush optimize here, just sort of evens things out in that area. So there we go, that's the ear hole applied there. So there is some distortion, but it's sort of in that hidden area. So if I home in on that, you can see the area of the maximum distortion is sort of this deep hole, so that won't matter too much. And let's do the eyes. So this one we'll just what I'll do is I might continue with these remaining pieces in part 3, just so that the video's in sort of more manageable pieces.